Shut up. I hope that's not picking up on the mic. I can hear pigeons just going off outside. Eat your food.
New World Order is here to kill you and your family. But first, dumb you down, make you sick, and suck everything out of you. When you finally get it, is the minute we start turning the tide against these people. I got the blueprints. You can have the blueprints. Why is it the same program all over the world? Run by fascists, run by communists, run by corporatists. Because it's a plan to end us. To turn us into animals like factory farmed chickens or pigs. And if we act like it, we deserve it. Because I know how real all this is, and I know what I've committed myself to, and it feels so right, it feels so good to not be a coward, to be real, to really love humanity, to really love goodness.
Okay, today is going to be another long episode. This is what happens when I'm busy for a few days right before the election. There's new breaking stories coming in every 5 minutes right now, and it is not easy to keep up with and nitpick and curate all the best stories. It's been eating up every free second I have. But here we go. Buckle up. At the 5-minute mark, I become unhinged. So let's begin with Trump is going on Rogan tomorrow. Just reminding you not to miss that before we dive into some weird news. First, Nicholas Rossi finally admitted who he is. Don't remember who Nicholas Rossi is? He's this weirdo.
Oh, no.
Police in the United States and the United Kingdom said this man was undoubtedly Nicholas Rossi, the international fugitive wanted on a rape charge in Utah under that name, but also known as Nicholas Aliverdian in Rhode Island, a man who investigators say faked his own death, fled the country, and created a new life in an attempt to avoid prosecution.
I don't have any doubt that it's not me.
But in a Utah courtroom today, a stunning admission.
Mr. Knight, can you also tell us other names that you've gone by previously?
Previously, I was born with the name Nicholas Aliverdian. In 1996, I would have that surname changed by my stepfather when it became Rossi, and I reverted to using it, Aliverdian, in 2008.
Now, this next story from the New York Post, I completely take with a grain of salt, but it's still news, so I'm still gonna share it, because this is like watching the Democratic Party actually dying in slow motion. And I'm honestly just so sick of reporting on this next one, but another migrant caravan is heading for the border?
Welcome back. Another new migrant caravan on the way. This is about 2,000 illegal migrants on the caravan headed to the United States southern border. They're coming from Mexico just 2 weeks before the presidential election. The surge in immigrants coming, as many of them are reportedly worried that if Donald Trump is elected, he will end asylum appointments through the CBP One app. They're probably right about that.
And finally, on with the actual show. Salutations, Cursed Nation. My name is Wolf, and you're watching my new show, Cursed Context, on the Wolf Channel, spelled VVVLF. I'm sure you've heard by now, but Trump worked at McDonald's.
And this is their
that's thousands of people. Hello, how are you? What a beautiful woman. Look at a beautiful child, the whole thing. It's like the perfect looking person. That's good. That's your compliments. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Hi, Mom.
Good luck to
Look
you.
at Mom over there. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. You have a great mom? Good or great? That's right. She knew what to say. Thank you very much. Thank you, darling. Wow, so nice.
All right, you're doing a good job.
Okay, these are nice people we're meeting here.
And this is, go ahead. So you hear one
Okay, got it. There he is. Look at this guy. I'm not going to mess with him, huh? How you doing, you look fantastic. Hello. Hi, boy. How are you? Your new baby. How are you? Doing great. How are you? So this is compliments of me, okay? All right. You go have a good time. Don't eat too much, right? Thank you, man. You take care. Thank you, honey. Have a good time.
And Kamala claimed she worked at McDonald's.
I heard a rumor that you worked at McDonald's. Is it true?
I did. I did. I didn't know that about I was in school. I did fries.
Just the fries?
I did fries, and then I did the cashier.
And now, while I do completely despise Snopes most of the time, I'll credit them this time for saying that her McDonald's claim is unproven. Good job, Snopes. For once, you didn't show massive bias in favor of a Democratic candidate. That's because the CDC has their own ways of shutting things down. Kinda suspicious that an E. coli outbreak happens at McDonald's right after Trump pulls a publicity stunt there. Like, did someone want to punish McDonald's or something? I am not saying that's what happened, but like, come the fuck on, how weird is that? Honestly, I'm really genuinely wondering if Kamala never even wanted to run as president. Like, she just wanted to be vice president and do as little as possible and retire with lots of fame and fortune without ever having to deal with the actual burden of being the president. Because, sincerely, I can't for the life of me believe anyone in their right mind would even consider booking Lizzo as an endorser. Let me say that again. Lizzo, who has the favorability of Hurricane Helene, just endorsed Kamala Harris.
This is how a bad bitch saves democracy. You hoes couldn't even spell democracy.
Yeah, this campaign is looking so cooked. And Trump just fired shots at cucks for Kamala.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me.
And people are accusing Kamala of using an earpiece again today.
And to increase screenings and to make sure that people are actually going and to make sure that people are actually going and to make sure that people are actually going and to make sure that people are actually going to get the screenings. Not to mention the higher risk for sickle cell.
Everyday Spy says the American people haven't voted yet, i.e., Kamala was inserted into the race.
The president stepped down. He only has one choice. He has to endorse the vice president.
He has to.
And then the Democratic National Convention
so that
and the party.
There's no George McGovern.
The party can't stand opposite of the democratic process. So where the fuck else are the delegates? Like, who's not going to support Kamala Harris of the party?
Precisely.
So the delegates all say yes. All the other people who were trying to run for Democratic ticket, they're all going to say yes because they don't want to be blacklisted and not get to run in the future. The American people haven't had a chance to vote yet.
And check out this footage of cops at J6 and tell me the feds weren't in on it. This next one I really love because I am so fucking sick of how anytime I mention the border, because I have white skin, people try to call me a fucking racist. So here's a black guy explaining why the GOP shut down the border bill. Funny how it comes off completely different when it's not a white person saying it, isn't it?
So every time I make a post about immigration, people always say, well, blame Trump. He's the one that killed the bipartisan border bill. Now, if you dislike Trump, that's probably where your investigation stops. Me personally, I wonder, well, why would he do that? So let's look at the funding breakdown according to PBS. $118 billion, that includes $60 billion in military aid for Ukraine, $14.1 billion in aid for Israel, $4.83 billion for aid for the Indo-Pacific region, $10 billion in humanitarian assistance for Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, and among other places, $2.3 billion in refugee assistance inside the U.S., $20.2 billion for improvements to the U.S. border, and $2.72 billion in domestic uranium enrichment. Out of all of the entire bill, only $20 billion is going to the border. If we add up the rest, we get... Yeah, that's like $90.1 billion going outside of the border. Did we need to spend another $118 billion? Or did we just need to reinstate all of the policies that Biden got rid of his first day in office? Biden and Kamala are trying to tell you that a vice president doesn't have any power to fix a problem. Meanwhile, a former president can block a border bill.
And here, Kamala falls on her ass in yet another interview. This time as Democrat-friendly of one as she could have possibly asked for.
You have a friend. His name is Barack Hussein Obama. You know him?
I do.
He recently, in Pittsburgh. President, let's get it right.
Yes.
Yeah, President. President Barack Obama. He was campaigning for you in Pittsburgh. And he said some things that really ruffled some feathers in the news. He said, it makes me think you aren't just feeling the idea of having a woman as a president. You're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. We have not seen the same kind of energy and turnout in all corners of our neighborhoods and community as we saw when I was running. My question to you is, do you think that what President Obama said was the right thing to say?
Let me tell you, I am very proud to have the support of President Obama and that he is out traveling to talk with voters about what is at stake in this election. I'm very proud to have his support. What is also important is, one, to understand, like as I said, I intend to earn the vote of everyone, including black men. Two, pay attention to everything that President Obama talked about, because he also talked about, at length, the danger of Donald Trump's $20,000 forgivable loan for them to be able to, for example, to pay to set up a really good website so that their business
it might
could then
intersect with
thrive.
PPP loans and how, you know, a mess, some people were involved with that, the PPP loans and fraud and all of that?
Fraud, listen, I spent a career prosecuting people for fraud, so we will take care of the abuses. But that's not a reason to not give people an opportunity to thrive. You know, I think there is a real misconception that people just, and only their highest aspiration is to have a job. That's not where I come from in terms of how I think of it. The baseline should be everybody has a job. What we should be doing is creating incentives for people to be able to build wealth and build intergenerational wealth. But again, knowing that not everybody starts out on the same base, but when you give them a little bit to just compete, they will work around the clock, good ideas, innovative ideas, and when they have just that little bit extra, it gives them what they need to actually get in there and compete and thrive. That's the $20,000. That's the theory behind the $20,000 forgivable loan for people at a certain threshold, to just give them the resources, like I said, to start up a website, to buy the equipment they need depending on the kind of business that they're creating, so that that's not the barrier to what otherwise is going to be their incredible work ethic and hustle to actually make a success out of their smart idea that actually has relevance to the community.
And the dude makes a solid point about the stolen PPP loans. So much money was taken that could have gone towards, I don't know, healthcare maybe, for fuck's sake. Literally, the cost of healthcare is the only reason I'm broke right now. Thanks, car accident. And think about it. Every time money is taken like this, what really happens? A legitimate business loses, the taxpayers get robbed, and some asshole gets a Ferrari. And ask yourself, how many got away with it? And then remind yourself, you paid for it.
Did you believe you were receiving these loans legitimately?
17 members of the Broward Sheriff's Office, which include both BSO deputies and detention deputies, released from the federal courthouse in Fort Lauderdale after being indicted on charges that include wire fraud after federal investigators said they fraudulently applied for and received funds from the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loans.
Called a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud the feds. A man accused of using money meant for small businesses to buy this mansion in Central Florida, along with other luxury items. He got away with it for a while, but now he's been indicted.
The scheme helped him land millions from the PPP program, and Calvin's in the newsroom with the details.
Well, we've heard the story before. The man is accused of lying about his business, saying it had hundreds of employees with an average monthly payroll of nearly $3 million, but federal investigators say none of that was true.
A federal grand jury has returned this indictment charging Don Cisternino of defrauding the federal government out of $7.2 million in COVID-19 relief funds. According to allegations in the indictment, Cisternino is accused of lying about his New York-based consulting company to get millions of dollars in payroll protection plan funds.
Busted in a payment protection plan con. An OC man is accused of taking millions of dollars from the government and spending it on exotic race cars. Investigators say he went to great lengths to cash in on the business program.
KCAL 9 Orange County reporter Stacey Butler with how they say he pulled off the scheme.
A Ferrari, a Bentley, a Lamborghini, millions of dollars worth of sports cars purchased with your tax dollars, the feds say, by a scam artist who defrauded a pandemic relief fund.
Instead of using the money like a legitimate business to, help the business stay afloat, instead what's alleged is that he used the money for his own personal expenses, to take lavish vacations.
Again tonight with startling new details in the murder of a TSA agent. Good evening, I'm Juwan Strader.
And I'm Jackie Nesbrough. Police say a woman paid a hitman in PPP loan money, and that's just one of the outrageous allegations.
NBC 6 reporter Ryan Nelson is in Northwest Miami-Dade with the details tonight.
The warrants revealed a tangled web of allegations, including murder for hire, fraud, and witness tampering. Police say 33-year-old Jasmine Martinez masterminded the murder for hire plot bankrolled by PPP loans that left 24-year-old LaShante Jones dead in May. Just over a year later, the warrants say Jones was robbed at gunpoint in the courthouse parking lot by two men, including Martinez's ex-boyfriend Kelly Nelson, after testifying against Martinez. About a year later, the warrant says Nelson called Martinez from jail, the warrant quoting Martinez in that conversation as saying that she is ready to go kill this hoe.
And then you got the whole, well, that was during COVID, this will be different crowd. Okay then, explain this breaking news story from last week. Feds link local activist to deadly fentanyl ring.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, that's how federal investigators are describing Madalita Marty Jackson.
Now, Jackson was an activist, and on the surface, she was focused on keeping kids safe, keeping them away from guns and violence. But as AJ Janabel reports, investigators are now linking her to an organized nationwide drug ring run here locally.
Officials say the leaders of this drug operation ring, two brothers, their mom, Marty Jackson, helped them hide their dirty drug money through her own accounts while she had access to millions of taxpayer dollars through her activist work. A face for change in front of cameras.
We can come here to criminalize people hanging out.
Marty Jackson held the role of executive director for the Boys and Girls Club SE Network, a group fighting against gangs and community violence in Seattle public schools, parks, and working alongside police. Jackson demanded change after violence in South Seattle.
I think it's a testament of the resilience that we all have.
City numbers I obtained show her organization had access to millions of taxpayer dollars for its cause. Just in August, the mayor's office used Jackson's voice to promote its millions in safety investments. But now, federal officials are revealing a dark side to the local changemaker.
It involved many members of their family.
Calling Jackson a money launderer for her family's deadly fentanyl operation, quote, through structured deposits and using her account as a pass-through for money changing hands between her sons and members of the crime ring. A crime ring where federal agents say Jackson's home was used to store guns and drugs. An operation accused of specifically targeting Native communities for drug sales.
The significance of this case is a family drug trafficking organization expanded beyond Washington state.
In the public fallout, local organizations are seemingly cutting ties fast. Jackson's image and info is wiped from the Boys and Girls Club's website, only visible here through the Wayback Machine. The mayor's office tells me they met with the Boys and Girls Clubs of King County immediately because of the arrest, but city officials would not tell me what came out of the meeting and deferred me back to the Boys and Girls Clubs of King County, who never responded. Seattle Public Schools provided a response that reads, in part, as soon as SPS learned of this issue, district representatives reached out to the city of Seattle to gather information and determine the next steps with the Boys and Girls Club as a service provider. We have paused any plans for a memorandum of understanding with the SE Network safety net until more clarity regarding future operations is known. Jackson is out on bond. I tried to reach out to her, but I was not able to get in touch with her. We'll continue to keep you up to date.
And there you have it. Bad people abuse handouts. There are already numerous options to get money to launch a business legitimately. First one that comes to mind is, working hard. Ever heard of it? Every single thing you see in these videos, I earned. I worked my ass off as a construction grunt for years, and after I nearly died in a car crash last year, I took the measly $900 of insurance money I got for my truck, and I invested it into my camera gear. I use a 2013 MacBook Pro I got for $300 and an old iPhone 11 Pro for all of my video editing. If there is a will, there is a way, without the taxpayers paying for it. And we wonder why we can't afford groceries. I swear, my head is about to explode right now. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to sponsor these videos so they actually start getting some traffic. Blacks for Trump have Democrats seriously panicking right now.
Possibility that we might have a second black president in a couple months. What do you think about that?
I didn't know there was a black president on the ballot. Who are you talking about?
Some might say Kamala Harris would be the...
Some might say that. What does Black America say?
What does Black America say?
Black America says that Kamala Harris's mother is an East Indian. Kamala Harris's father's father is a white slave owner. That's right. Kamala Harris's father, who's a Marxist and a communist, is who taught Kamala Harris. If you're going to put a black person in the White House, don't shame us by giving us somebody who's really of another identity and just has dark skin. Barack Obama was another example.
And I gotta call this one out. Everyone accuses Trump of being racist. Can you honestly, off the top of your head, name even one racist thing Trump has ever done other than inevitably be proven right about the border? And then I ask you this. Were you aware that Trump provided a Boeing jet for Nelson Mandela when no other airliner would?
Nelson Mandela and 80 of his constituents were trying to come to the United States.
Yeah.
The United States government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him. You chartered a 727 plane for their entire trip.
Yeah.
How is somebody, and that's crazy because you can talk about anything, and why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? It runs in your family. Your father helped build a synagogue. I mean, why do we not know those things?
It's something that I've never, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. I don't, we all like a certain level of praise, but I've never, I just like helping people. I help a lot of people and I enjoy doing it and I never talk about it. It's nice that you bring it up. I also think it's not a narrative that the press likes talking about, for me.
But I think it would help a lot of the American people who have been misled, I myself included. Now listen, I'm voting for you now because of the man you are, not just because of the policies. Because not every American will get the opportunity that I had to saw who you were backstage. And that's why I have this list. I mean, I have testimonials. We can't go through all because
I want to see them.
Now this was I had to dig deep.
I like that.
You donated $100,000 to raise dogs. You're not even a dog guy. Yeah. Explain that.
Well, that's Lara. So I have a wonderful, the wife of Eric, and she's a terrific person. You know, she's actually now a very big an important person in getting elected in the Republican Party.
Yeah, tell me more about how racist the guy is. And in the most cringeworthy attempt imaginable at securing the vote of black men, the Kamala campaign just threatened to withhold pussy?
The Harris campaign has resorted to telling black men that women won't date them if they vote for Trump.
Hello, ladies. I'm Trey. It's good to be here.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, hey.
So, what do you do and how much do you make?
I work in finance, making 6 figures.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Okay. Do you work out?
I like to stay active, yeah.
Do you have a plan to vote?
I didn't plan on it.
I just want to know, why does the party that doesn't believe in genders keep trying to pander to them? I just want to know, man. And the Abercrombie CEO just got busted by the FBI for sex trafficking male models. I seriously wonder if this is going to come out as one of the first cases of P. Diddy snitching. Legitimately, I won't be surprised if Sean Combs comes out to be one of the key witnesses.
Former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch and 2 others have been arrested as part of a criminal sex trafficking investigation by the FBI. Mike Jeffries was accused in civil lawsuits filed in 2023 of sexually exploiting young men at parties he held with his partner. Jeffries is credited with turning Abercrombie and Fitch into a fashion powerhouse, but has come under criticism in the past few years on accusations of discrimination and over-sexualizing male models. Jeffrey's attorney says he will respond to the allegations after the indictment is unsealed and when appropriate.
And did you see Kamala decided to blatantly attack Christianity?
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Well, this is with Catholics. So Harris has 47 to 52 with Trump. But here's another interesting poll. They're among all Catholics, but white Catholics, 61% for Trump, only 34 with Hispanic Catholics. That's an interesting number, especially as you're seeing Hispanics, men in particular, moving towards Donald Trump.
What more evidence do you need to see to realize this lady is an American-hating Marxist? Oh, and right after that happened, J.D. Vance praised Christianity, since he realizes what country he lives in.
Anti-Christian rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is king, and I don't think that we've seen... I don't think that we've seen anything like this in modern American politics.
Sorry, Kamala, but no matter how bad you want it to be, we the American people won't accept turning America into Bolshevik-controlled Russia. FAFO. And here is a computer video explaining how milk is sourced according to vegans. And then this one, I'm sharing because it is close to my heart. This woman was brutally assaulted in Venice Beach this year, and the woman victimized is seeking justice.
55-year-old healthcare professional, mother and grandmother Mary Klein was walking along the Venice canals near her home on April 6th when a stranger severely beat and raped her, knocking out her teeth in the devastating attack. Another victim on the same evening, Sarah Alden, did not survive her beating and sexual assault, and Mary Klein now carries a message for both women. 30-year-old Anthony Francisco Jones pleaded no contest in the case and was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Well, because I have a 5-inch long blood clot in the back of my...
5-inch long blood clot?
It's 5-inch long. Blood clot still remaining in the back of my brain. They think, the doctor said it may have scarred in, so maybe there for life. So I'm at a constant risk for having a stroke or aneurysm.
and that has impacted her work as a home health care provider for mainly elderly patients. Klein tells us she has served the city with a claim for damages and losses totaling $5 million, blaming government leaders for failing to protect her and the general public.
The government has not allowed enough police to be on the streets of LA to keep us safe. You can't even go to the grocery store without having somebody try to harass you or intimidate you.
This development comes on the same day as the announcement of the new top cop for the second largest city in the United States. Mary Klein has a clear message for former LA County Sheriff and newly appointed LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell.
We need to support our police. We need police visibility, and we need community safety projects put into place. We need to refund our police and stop being soft on crime.
This one is close to home for me because I myself was homeless there for an on-off period of about 3 years of my adult life. I am all too familiar with how insanely dangerous Venice Beach and Los Angeles are, and all of California is for that matter, and it can be solely blamed on bad leadership. I, with my very own eyes, have seen countless assaults in Venice Beach go completely unpunished and uncared about by law enforcement and community leaders there for several years. I began going there in 2009, and like I said, I hope more people become aware of this story and that every Democrat leader in California gets booted out faster than they know what hit them. Drop a comment if you're praying for a landslide victory against the Smurf Party in 2024. Did you hear about the TikToker who tore down a bunch of Greek flags outside a restaurant because they didn't know what an Israeli flag looks like? I'll let this one speak for itself.
And I'm about to come back and put Free Palestine too. Free Palestine, bitch. Look, what you looking at? You know damn well there's a genocide. You know there's a genocide. Now stop it. I'm taking this shit down. I believe this one. Take this one down right here. What are they gonna do? They can't do nothing. I don't stand for it. I don't stand for it. I don't stand for this. There's genocide, and I don't stand for Zionism. I'm Montclair. I don't support it. There's a genocide. You know that, right? They're killing children. What's the purpose? Be proud of your heritage. Y'all understand there's a genocide, right? You understand, right? There's nothing against people who are Jewish, but this is not okay.
This is British.
Who's this?
This is British.
What? Really?
British.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Israel. My bad. Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad.
What?
Look, it looked like Israel. Okay, well, you want it back? Well, I did it already. This is not okay. Are you sure? Let me look this over.
And there's been a horrifying leak about Israel preparing to launch a major attack on Iran. They claim they won't use nukes, they claim.
Where Israel's launching a barrage of strikes on Lebanon late tonight as U.S. officials try to track down how top-secret intelligence about Israel's plan to hit back at Iran apparently leaked.
Leaked documents describe some of the exercises, the aircrafts, and weapons the Israeli military is possibly preparing to use in a strike against Iran. The reports might contain images generated in part by American intelligence. The documents were published by an online group called the Middle East Spectator, which claims it's a group of independent journalists. However, the Jerusalem Post and other outlets call it pro-Iran. Now, in a statement, the Middle East Spectator claims it got the leaked documents from a Telegram channel, writing, "We have no connection to the original source," which we assume to be a whistleblower within the U.S. Department of Defense.
And South Korea has a message to North Korea about sending troops to Ukraine.
The South Korean government demanded the immediate withdrawal of North Korean troops allegedly deployed in Russia, warning the government will not stand by. South Korean Deputy National Security Advisor Kim Tae-hyo spoke at a news conference Tuesday afternoon following a National Security Council meeting. If this illegal cooperation between North Korea and Russia continues, the government will not stand by, and it will respond in a firm manner with the international community, he said. Kim also said response measures would be taken in steps but did not specify the measures that may be taken. South Korea's spy agency said Friday it had confirmed that North Korea sent 1,500 special operation forces to Russia this month to support Moscow's war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also said his government had intelligence that 10,000 North Korean soldiers were being prepared to join invading Russian forces. Cooperation between North Korea and Russia has flourished over the past 2 years.
Did you hear the news about Rosie O'Donnell's meth head daughter? Remember, this is the daughter of the ex-host of the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. Do you really trust these freaks to be preaching to your children every day?
So she says that she is sorry for your loss, but then she shifted Jocelyn's story to Trump.
And Jocelyn Nungari's mother, Alexis, destroys Kamala for her fake apology during Bret Baier's interview.
What do you think about that?
I think she's completely full of it. She is not a sincere woman at all. She has no sympathy, no empathy to her. She's supposed to, if she wants to run this country, she needs to take into consideration the families that she has affected with these policies that she has allowed and that she has approved. It's unacceptable that she gave me a very empty, half open apology to thinking she was being sincere, to just shift like she always does in every interview, every questionnaire she has to somehow shift it over to Mr. Trump, and that makes absolutely no sense. Why can't you just take accountability like you should and actually try to make a difference, maybe be humane and actually reach out to families that you have affected?
And here's what some YouTube commenters are saying about Kamala. Did you know Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote to tax restaurant worker tips previously? So, there seems to be a pretty good chance she's lying about working at McDonald's. No record whatsoever can be found, including her own resume. And we got 2 clips left before I dive into today's conspiracy theory. Here, King Trout explains the Salem witches.
Based on the ketchup and mayonnaise on the countertop, as well as the average BMI of the women in this video, you're American. No American women were ever burned for witchcraft. They were hanged. That being said, all of the women in America who were accused of witchcraft were accused by women. So it's a kind of a woman-on-woman crime. It's really your fault to begin with. I'm sorry, you're healing from those wounds. Now, if you are a European who's on the larger side and enjoys mayonnaise and Heinz ketchup, all of the women in Europe who were burned at the stake were primarily accused of heresy, not witchcraft specifically, because the Catholic Church had a ban on burning witches. Heretics, you could burn. And Instagram will take down this post if I say that you should burn heretics at the stake. But so, that being said, don't do that. Don't burn heretics at the stake, because that's a bad thing to do. Don't burn heretics at the stake. But yeah, I'm guessing you're American. So it was little girls accused older women who had inconvenienced them of witchcraft. And in result, they were hanged, technically. It's your fault.
And last but not least, Pride versus your kids. Oh my God, we did it. We actually fucking made it through the election news for now. Viewer, are you alive over there? Are you okay? Do you need food, water, or are you not a little bitch? Today, we are talking about the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, a proud, outspoken eugenicist and pen pal of Adolf Hitler who is still celebrated by the far left. From Wikipedia, the Margaret Sanger Award was an honor awarded annually by the Planned Parenthood Federation of America from 1966 to 2015. Created to honor the legacy of Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, it is the Federation's highest honor. It is given to individuals to recognize excellence and leadership in the reproductive health and rights movement. Although it is identified as an annual award, it hasn't been given out since 2015. That's interesting. That's right around the same time the story I'm about to share with you originally went viral, and the public realized the elites are a bunch of racists, and they see poor people as modern-day slaves. When I ask people why they are voting for Kamala, the only reason I've been able to gather is because Roe vs. Wade. Okay, so let's get into it. Who started the abortion lobby and why? From an article on dailysignal.com. 13 things you probably don't know about Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger. Planned Parenthood is the largest abortion provider in the United States. On its website, the organization compliments Margaret Sanger as one of the pro-choice movement's great heroes. Sanger started the American Birth Control League in 1921. It became part of Planned Parenthood Federation of America in 1942. Planned Parenthood praises Sanger for providing contraception and other health services and advocating access to family planning in the United States and around the world. In addition to Planned Parenthood, Sanger also founded the Birth Control Review, a journal about contraception and population control. Here are 13 things Sanger said during her lifetime. 1. She proposed allowing Congress to solve population problems by appointing a Parliament of Population, directors representing the various branches of science in the Parliament would direct and control the population through birth rates and immigration and direct its distribution over the country according to national needs, consistent with taste, fitness, and interest of the individuals, quote. That was from A Plan for Peace Birth Control Review, April 1932, pages 107 to 108. 2. Sanger called the various methods of population control, including abortion, quote, defending the unborn against their own disabilities, quote. A Plan for Peace Birth Control Review, April 1932, pages 107 to 108. Number 3. Sanger believed that the United States should keep the doors of immigration closed to the entrance of certain aliens whose condition is known to be detrimental to the stamina of the race, such as free-blended idiots, morons, insane, syphilitic, epileptic, criminal, professional, prostitutes, and others in this class barred by the immigration laws of 1924. And that came from A Plan for Peace Birth Control Review, April 1932, pages 107 to 108. Damn, those 2 pages are fucked. Okay, next. 4. Sanger advocated, quote, a stern and rigid policy of sterilization and segregation to that grade of population whose progeny is already tainted or whose inheritance is such that objectionable traits may be transmitted to offspring. And that came from A Plan for Peace Birth Control Review, April 1932, pages 107 to 108. Gosh dang. How fine was the print on that page? Okay. 5. People whom Sanger considered unfit, she wrote, should be sent to, quote, farmlands and homesteads where they would be taught to work under competent instructors for the period of their entire lives. And that one came from A Plan for Peace, Birth Control Review, April 1932, pages 107 to 108. Okay, next. 6. She was an advocate of a proposal called the American Baby Code. Quote, "The results desired are obviously selective births," she wrote. According to Sanger, the code would, quote, "protect society against the propagation and increase of the unfit," quote. America Needs a Code for Babies, March 27, 1934, Margaret Sanger, Papers, Library of Congress, 128, semicolon 0312B. That one's from something different. Number 7. While advocating for the American Baby Code, she argued that marriage licenses should provide couples with the right to only, quote, "a common household, but not parenthood. In fact, couples should have to obtain a permit to become parents." Article 3, a marriage license shall in itself give husband and wife only the right to a common household and not the right to parenthood. Article 4, no woman shall have the legal right to bear a child, and no man shall have the right to become a father without a permit for parenthood. Article 5, permits for parenthood shall be issued upon application by city, county, or state authorities to married couples, providing they are financially able to support the expected child, have the qualifications needed for proper rearing of the child, have no transmissible diseases, and on the woman's part, no medical indication that maternity is likely to result in death or permanent injury to health. Article 6. No permit for parenthood shall be valid for more than one birth. Quote, "All that sounds highly revolutionary, and it might be impossible to put the scheme into practice," Sanger wrote. She added, "What is social planning without a quota? America Needs a Code for Babies." March 27, 1934, Margaret Sanger, Papers, Library of Congress, 128, semicolon 0312B. 8. She believed that large families were detrimental to society. Quote, "The most serious evil of our times is that of encouraging the bringing into the world of large families. The most immoral practice of the day is breeding too many children," she wrote. Quote, "The most merciful thing that the large family does to one of its infant members is to kill it," she continued. Quote, Woman in the New Race, 1920, Chapter 5, The Wickedness of Creating Large Families. Number 9. She argued that motherhood must be, quote, efficient. Quote, "Birth control itself often denounces as a population of natural law. It is nothing more or less than the facilitation of the process of weeding out the unfit or of those who will become defectives," Sanger wrote. Woman of the New Race, 1920, Chapter 18, The Goal. And number 10. Population control, she wrote, would bring about the materials of a new race. "If we are to develop in America a new race with a racial soul, we must keep the birth rate within the scope of our ability to understand as well as to educate. We must not encourage reproduction beyond our capacity to assimilate our members as to make the coming generation into such physically fit, mentally capable, socially alert individuals as are the ideal of a democracy," Sanger wrote. Woman of the New Race, 1920, Chapter 3, The Materials of the New Race. Number 11. Sanger wrote that an excess in population must be reduced. "War, famine, and poverty and oppression of the workers will continue while woman makes life cheap," she wrote. Mothers, quote, "at whatever cost, she must emerge from her ignorance and assume her responsibility." Woman in the New Race, 1920, Chapter 1, Woman's Error and Her Debt. And number 12. "We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population," Sanger wrote. Letter to Dr. Clarence Gamble on December 10th, 1939. And number 13. In an interview with Mike Wallace in 1957, Sanger said, I think the greatest sin in the world is to bring children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being practically. That's right, she thought you weren't human. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That, to me, is the greatest sin that people can commit, she said. And that's it. This fucking lady was crazy. And the people who support this shit are crazy. And right now, I'm not even using a script. This is just being real. I'm gonna link a video at the bottom of this in the description. Watch it. It's a interview with a panel of abortion surgeons who realized what they're actually doing. And I really think this is a perspective worth looking into. I'm not actually anti-abortion, but I am anti-being pro-abortion. Like, nobody should be pro-abortion. Like, it should be a thing that you do because of, like, an emergency scenario, you know? And, yeah, I'm just saying, go with what the doctors have to say to it. The link is below here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. My channel is struggling. So, if you like this video, send it to your friends. If this one doesn't do it for you, check out my other videos and see if you find one you do like, and send it to your friends. I'm not a hater. I need people to watch my channel. So yeah, support it. Tune in. Thanks for watching. I need more followers. If you want to sponsor this shit, holla at me on Instagram. Goodbye. Forgot to change the lights. We're going with red today. We're going with red. This is a red episode. We're just gonna make it red. We're supposed to be green.
Buck the system and the group collective. Do that, and you'll earn your way to the next level. This is the Info War.
Finally, and I just want to say this very quickly, I'm just about 5 minutes. Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. Yes, a follower of what was in its day a widely respected and popular movement. Seems inconceivable, but it's the truth.
Hey, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. My channel is small and it is struggling. I got a strike like 6 months ago, and it seems like I've been shadow banned ever since because of it. But I'm doing everything I can to turn that around and build this channel into what I've always envisioned it as. I do all my own writing, filming, and editing, producing, and publishing. Your viewership is incredibly appreciated, and I hope that you share this video. I was in a horrific car accident last year and had one of my organs removed because of it. Those fuckers stole my spleen, and because of that, the whole past year has been a struggle. I need health insurance to survive, and the way our federal laws are, I'm unable to work at a decent job without losing my Medicaid. They won't allow me to earn over $13 an hour, so I've dedicated myself to journalism instead. You can support me by buying an official Make Americans Guerrillas Again shirt from my online store that launched yesterday. I've got limited edition black ones for $26 and OD green ones that will always be available for $17. Every penny from those goes towards helping pay my rent and also contributes to charitable efforts I am involved in with Kenya. But that's for another video. Thank you for your support. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And until the next time,